Hello and welcome back to the Curios cast. This episode is another weird news. So once again, I'm joined by Rob and Tom.
Yo.
Welcome back to the pod.
What's up?
How are we?
Good.
All right. It's been a little while. It's been...
As last time was Christmas.
Yeah.
The Christmas special.
Been looking forward to chatting. It's good.
Not looking forward to my backache. Currently crouching because I haven't got a table and chairs.
You should put a photo of your setup in the Instagram or something, just for context.
Yeah. Well, take a photo of it after this. I'll put it on the screen now, so if anyone's watching on YouTube, they can see your
I'll get
little setup.
I'll get Lynn to take a picture of me sitting like this. So
what
welcome
happened?
back.
Why have you sold all your stuff?
Because we're moving out of this apartment.
Right.
We've got a leak in the roof.
Oh,
So the landlords let us leave a bit early, so we're going to move back to my parents for a bit.
oh, fair enough.
But obviously we need to get rid of all the furniture. We was going to get rid of it anyway. But yeah,
Didn't think it through.
It's been a disaster. I haven't got a table. I haven't got chairs. I got rid of my headphones. I've had to find a new pair of headphones.
I was lucky you had them. They look all right, really.
So I'm currently sitting on 5 pillows. The microphone is on a recycling bin. And the Mac is on a bedside cabinet, so it's really good.
All good.
Excellent.
The stuff we go through to record this podcast.
So all those 20 listeners, this episode, I hope you really appreciate
it.
Yeah.
Wicked.
As we said before, this is another weird news. A classic, Curios cast classic, you could say.
Love it.
I
found a good website. So I'll say I found a good website for some weird news. An absolute wealth of weird news. And I like to, when I'm looking, I don't want to be, I can't look on like page 1 of Google results, because it's a bit obvious, and you guys might have also done it. So I'll hit like 9 or something and go through there. and I found it's like an Indian news website, and they've got like a weird news section. So I thought, come on, this is surely
nice.
There's no chance of a clash here. And ironically, I did find an article that we spoke about before, which I'm going to mention just because I found it funny that I found it. But
the problem I find with that is sometimes you find something really good, but there's nothing to the story. It's like 4 lines.
Yeah, I've got one of those as well.
Yeah, and it's so obscure that you just can't find any other information about it.
Yeah, all the ones I was looking through earlier that were definitely fake. They were just completely made up, ridiculous stories. I don't know why someone's done it, just obviously to get clicks and just have a laugh.
It's
but
strange,
I read it and I'm thinking, this is gold. This is pure podcast content. And it's once I get to the end, I sort of read over it again and realise that this is just make-believe.
It's because your absolute journalistic integrity here. You have to find out if it's real, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas like episode 3 or 4 of the podcast, we just said it.
Yeah, I bet if we went back and looked at the very first episodes, half the stories is just not even true.
Just nonsense. Yeah.
There is no fatberg.
They were good stories. I wonder what's going on with the fatberg.
There's fatbergs all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got a letter from the council the other day, telling me to stop flushing things down there. But
Did you? Telling you to stop feeding it?
Not specifically me, but I think the general area just saying nothing should go down your drains other than water and shit, basically. They're saying not put any wipes down there, don't put oil down there, stuff like that.
Nice.
But moving on, I guess. Away from the fatbergs. That's episode 1 news.
Thank you very much, Dagenham Council, for your great statement.
So what you're saying? You want to go first, Tom?
Yeah, I'll go. I'll just jump straight into it. Anyone who remembers, I think it might have been our last weird news episode. It's episode 4 of the podcast. And we spoke about, it was a story that Rob brought onto the podcast, which was, you initially spoke about NASA's experiments with dolphins on LSD and seeing if they could communicate with dolphins. And then that sort of devolved into people having sex with dolphins, and
obviously,
in particular, there was a story about a man called Malcolm Brenner who had sex with a dolphin when he was in his early 20s, and he worked at a water theme park place, like a sea life kind of place. It's called Florida Land, and he had sex with a dolphin multiple times, who he was attracted to, and who the dolphin was attracted to him. And like the headline of the article was, man has sex with dolphin named Dolly and claims that she seduced him. And we sat and had a laugh about it, and it was it's pretty funny to read, right?
I couldn't remember where the context for this. Yeah, so I'm glad you're recapping.
Yeah. So that was the story that we spoke about a few months ago now, and I sort of looked him up and had a little look into who this guy is. He has a book. He wrote a novel about it called Wet Goddess: Recollections of a Dolphin Lover, and so I was sort of flicking through some sort of like excerpts from that book, found it quite interesting, and read some other things about Malcolm, and it just seemed like a really interesting guy. So I got in contact with him, and we had a little chat, and that video is up on our YouTube channel. So a lot of people listening to this might have already seen it. If you haven't seen it yet, then you're missing out. It's a good video. There's about 30-40 minutes of content where I'm talking to Malcolm about everything from having sex with the aliens,
With the aliens?
not the aliens. He was having sex with dolphins, but we also spoke about aliens as well. We spoke about
Doesn't he at one point suggest that the dolphins may be aliens, or that the aliens would speak to them, or does he go as far as to say that they are aliens? Because some people do say that, don't they?
Yeah.
I can't remember whether he says that.
Like octopi as well.
Yeah, he sort of implies
Octopus.
that dolphins have been here for an extremely long time compared to humans, and
Yeah.
they've just reached peak evolution. They haven't they haven't changed in so long because they've perfected their bodies and potentially their minds as well. So they're just, chilling and sort of like slowly progressing maybe. But they've been here so long and they've seen so much of the world that if there are aliens that have come to the Earth, then there's a good chance that the dolphins would have, either seen them or had contact with them or hung out with them or communicated with them maybe.
It's not a bad theory, to be honest.
No.
I'm in.
Yeah, it is a good one.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we'll play a short section of the interview. We're going to play about 10 minutes of the interview now for everyone listening to this to listen to. And if you want to listen to the rest of it, then head over to our YouTube channel and you can watch the full video. And then there is even a bonus video, which is about an hour long, where there's even more interesting conversation going on. So we'll play that video now and see you in 10 minutes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you, Malcolm. How are you?
Oh, I'm okay this morning.
Okay,
A
good.
little slow to wake up, but that's normal at my age.
I guess for the audience, would you like to introduce yourself? Who are you?
I'm Malcolm J. Brenner. I'm a writer and photographer, and reporter was my trade when I was working. I'm retired now. In 1970, I had a rather fascinating love affair with a female bottlenose dolphin, which most people don't have. And I've been trying to tell people what the dolphins are and what they are up to possibly on this planet ever since.
You do have a book, which is probably the book that you're most known for, relating to the dolphin Dolly.
Right.
That book is titled Wet Goddess: Recollections of a Dolphin Lover.
Right. It's as close as I could write to what actually happened to me without getting sued by any of the people that are mentioned in the book, not as themselves, of course, but as mere characters, but are still alive.
Of course. So inspired by true events. And then I guess for anybody who also wants to know the nitty-gritty, dirty details, there's also a short documentary that you told me about, which was called Dolphin Lover.
Right.
And that pretty much summarizes the experience.
Well, that's why I made the film Dolphin Lover, because it's like the Cliff Notes version of Wet Goddess. And the only thing that really has been left out of that, because there wasn't enough time or budget, was the fact that I had rather extensive telepathic communications with the dolphin, which is really weird if you think about it, but it turns out I'm not the only guy on the planet who has this particular delusion. This is a real thing. Scientists don't acknowledge it because scientists don't acknowledge about half of what's going on because it's not repeatable in a lab.
Of course, you've had a lot of time to think about and sort of interpret the experience that you had back in the 70s. it wasn't just sex. There was a connection between you and Dolly, and the connection was not just one way. It wasn't just that you fell in love with a dolphin, but Dolly also connected with you as well.
Let's be absolutely clear about one thing.
Yes.
When I first went to Florida Funland, or Florida Land, the real name of the park, Florida Land, I didn't have any idea what dolphins were like. I had read a little bit about them. Everything that happened at the park was Dolly's idea. The dolphin took the initiative in reaching out to me, both personally and sexually. And I think she reached out sexually because of one thing. Dolphins have sex the way humans shake hands. What that tells me is that dolphins attach some meanings to sex that we don't. Most dolphins that get caught are just concerned with getting by in captivity and earning their fish and, keeping their weight up and keeping their masters happy. I think Dolly was something different. I think she was the dolphin equivalent of a scientist.
Okay.
And she was studying her captors, human beings. And she was asking this question: why won't humans shake hands with us? You get it? Shake hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm following.
The thing is, I think the dolphins are asking a real question there. And in their society, in their way of life, it's a completely legitimate question. Come on, let's have sex, just for fun. Just to get to know you better. Let's have sex. When I came along, the first time I got in the water with her, she wouldn't come near me. And I thought, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with my hands? Just average human hands. And a bunch of thoughts went through my mind about what we humans do with our hands. And one of them, because I was, a 20-year-old male and horny, was that we use our hands in foreplay.
Mm-hmm.
When that thought crossed my mind, the dolphin stopped swimming around, stuck her head out of the water, and looked at me for about a minute. And then she swam right over to me and let me stroke her head. So that was the first time that I got a clue that dolphins can intercept your thoughts.
So in that moment, Dolly the dolphin read your mind.
She realized I was a zoophile.
Okay.
That I might be a good experimental subject for her. I had no designs on a dolphin that time. I was more or less into sex with dogs. And I hadn't had any, but I had tried. And I frankly didn't want to get involved with the dolphin sexually. The dolphin found me irresistible. And every time I went down to the park, her attention was focused on me. Dolly became sort of a thing in herself. I just found myself becoming fascinated with her, becoming more attracted to her, especially after I explained or tried to explain human sex to her. Her courtship took on a new dimension. It became very gentle, very erotic. I don't know how I got through to her if it wasn't telepathically, but something changed. And the dolphin began treating me with a newfound respect for my humanness. She was masturbating on me. She was rubbing her genital slit, which is, the opening of her vagina, against me to masturbate. And one time, she actually had a climax. I know because, she threw her head out of the water and was looking me right in the eyes as she was masturbating on my foot. She was put up in the main pool with 5 male dolphins. She still preferred me.
Why do you think that was?
Because I was an interesting subject, and because she is deciding she actually liked me. Many UFOs, it turns out, like the ones reported in the Tic Tac case, are seen over or entering or leaving the ocean. UFOs do seem to have something to do with the sea. And who is in a better position to know what's going on in the sea than the dolphins? So whether these things have underwater bases, whether they're just using our planet as a kind of transit zone, or need to cool down their hyperflux engines or whatever in the ocean, I don't know, but I'll bet the dolphins do.
Maybe.
And I'll bet they've had a much longer association with whoever is running the UFOs than we have, because they've been here longer. There's all kinds of questions we can answer if we could talk to dolphins.
Your other book. So you have, it's a 2012 book titled Growing Up in the Orgone Box, Secrets of a Righteous Childhood. And in your words, it's about growing up with parents who have an illogical belief in a bizarre pseudo-scientific quasi-cult.
Yeah. Let me put you in my place for a minute.
Yep.
I'm 5 years old. My parents are taking me to the psychiatrist because I had a very difficult birth. My mother's cervix clamped down around my forehead as I was being born. She went into a spasm. And my father said that when I came out, I was blue from the middle of my forehead to the top of my head because, and this psychiatrist, who is a close associate of Dr. Reich's, his name was Dr. Duval, Dr. Alan Duval, I think.
Albert,
yeah, whatever. Long time. I had a lot of tension from that. Unfortunately, Dr. Duval just made it worse. He was a pedophile. He was a sadist. He tortured the kids that were sent to him for therapy. And I've talked to several of them. They all tell the same story of being tortured by Dr. Duval, of him threatening them into silence, of them telling their parents anyway, and not being believed. And this is where the cult-like aspects of the followers of Wilhelm Reich begin to emerge.
and the experience that you had with Dr. Duval. Do you directly relate that to your sort of like sexual desires later on in life, in your teens and early 20s?
It's just personal opinion, but I believe zoophiles are made, not born. Other zoophiles disagree with me. But I believe there has to be something pretty terrible happen to you early in life while your sexuality is still in its infantile or childlike form that makes you lose all trust and all interest in human sexual partners. And once you do that, animals start looking pretty good.
I want to talk about aliens. So you...
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so you mentioned... Or I want you to talk about aliens more than anything.
I met a woman in Farmington. This was my second wife. And the experience she had was waking up one night and finding a man in a silver suit standing in her room. And she couldn't explain this, but he was injured. He had blood on his face. And silently, he begged her to get up. He couldn't speak. And she did get up, and he took her by the hand and led her through the dark woods to a crashed spaceship.
And if you want to hear the rest of that story, then head over to our YouTube channel, listen to the full interview, and get all of the details from Malcolm himself. What did you think, boys?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting. Very interesting. I wrote a couple of things down after listening to it because there was just a couple of things I wanted to remember to bring up. I know we spoke about it already.
There is a lot to take in.
There's a lot to take in, yeah. The things I wrote now I'm looking at, I wrote like 3 things down and they're not that insightful. One of them was that I found it funny when he was saying about trying to roll a joint under difficult conditions. that just like spoke to me. I was like, yes, mate, I've been there. Well, and I just said about he's the general alien thing, which we kind of spoke about a bit before this. How it's not a bad theory. I don't think that's his theory per se, is it? Is that or is it? Is that one of his faults?
I think that, yeah, that is one of his. The dolphins would have communicated with aliens if aliens. Yeah, I think that is a general belief of his. I don't think,
and they do appear around water a lot, don't they? Like he mentions the Tic Tac, which is one we spoke about, and that's all underwater, isn't it? And
yeah. So that was one of his points, is that a lot of UFO sightings tend to be over water, or they're coming out of the water, or they disappear into the water, and there's a chance that maybe they've got some kind of like, base under the water, or that's where they go to hide. And obviously, if there was aliens going under the water, then dolphins would probably know about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it obviously has some there's some quite bleak parts, that he speaks about. But it's fair enough that I've never really seen anyone like straight up acknowledge that the zoophilia thing is created, and no one's kind of meant to be like that, and it's a condition of even though it was like at least okay that he acknowledged that, because it is fucked up to have sex with an animal. Like they ain't consenting as much as he thinks that it did. And obviously there's the line there of like, I spoke to a couple of mates about it, and one of them was just like, why are you fucking like sort of like giving him platform, whatever? And I was like, no, it's hardly a huge platform anyway. But he said something like, why are you legitimizing him or something? I was like, I don't think that's what's going on. But
I think he he said he hasn't done it since, right? That's what
I don't think he gets the opportunity, really, do you? Much.
Yeah.
So what
I
kind of?
don't think they're going to rehire him.
But he's not. He's not like a serial dolphin. I don't know what the
zoophile is. The
Casanova.
word
He's not going around like seducing dolphins, all around the world.
Yeah, I suppose it's a
maybe
one-off.
If he was an active, dolphin Casanova, then maybe it'd be different.
Yeah.
But,
if you've done it and it's interesting to talk about it, there's no denying that it's of interest.
Yeah.
There aren't many people that have done that. So, well, I don't think so anyway.
It's probably more people than you realise. I reckon.
But it got all be people that work at
interesting.
SeaWorld.
Hey?
It got all be people that work at like sea life centres, isn't it? Because what's the chances of you like managing to get a dolphin to come near enough to you
out
in the wild? Yeah.
One part of the interview,
happening.
I think it might have been the bit when he was talking about the rolling the joint. Like, I might have like misheard, but it sounded like he was just on a beach. He wasn't in like.
Yeah, and the dolphin was talking to him from the water at this point, wasn't he? That's what he said.
So that was like the first point that he sort of says he had this connection with a dolphin, but that wasn't the same dolphin, was it? That was just a.
Don't believe so, no, because the dolphin would have been, unless the dolphin has like a long range form of communication and can, has like a permanent seed planted in his brain, maybe, I don't know. But,
the Sea Life Centre could be near the water. A lot of them are, sadly, aren't they? Like,
yeah, it is actually, because I don't know if he mentioned it or if it was a bit that I edited out, but he says that Dolly was the only dolphin in the world, other than the ones that are used by the military, was trained to go out into open waters. So
he didn't mention that.
So Dolly would go out into open waters and swim alongside this boat, and they would like throw fish off the boat, and she would jump up and stuff, and then she would come back. And he said sometimes she did escape, and then like a few days later she would come back, and so she obviously had, she had the ability to escape if she wanted to, but didn't.
I think that's proof as well for Lawford, who didn't believe that
I was going to say
used dolphins and whales.
So he actually said, because that wasn't in the clip that we listened to. Maybe it's in the hour
I think
one.
It's in the hour long, yeah.
You spoke about military trained dolphins.
Yeah. So yeah,
brilliant. Did you sort of mention your expertise in that area? Or?
I didn't, because it was brushed over. There was quite a lot. To be honest, there was quite a lot of moments in the interview where there was a lot coming at me pretty quickly. And my brain sort of processing something that he said 30 seconds ago, and he's saying something new. And, you know, there's a million questions I could ask. And, I had to pick and choose what road we were going down a lot of the time. Otherwise, it would have been a fucking 10-hour chat, I think. It would have gone on forever.
Yeah.
It's funny. In, like,
fair play to him for coming and chatting, though.
Thank you, Malcolm, for joining in and being up for it.
And for talking about some personal stuff as well. You know, it's not all fun and games, that interview.
Yeah.
So, props to Malcolm for discussing some stuff that normally people wouldn't really want to discuss. So
it did get pretty deep. There was also, because he spoke about a lot of his troubles in his childhood, and it got pretty, it gets pretty deep and pretty real. And when I was talking to him, I had a little. We had a little bit like, oh, that's really awful. I'm sorry you went through that, blah, blah, blah. And then as we kind of went out of that lull, we started talking about aliens. But I thought for the video, it wouldn't be good for us to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm having like a chat. So I cut it, and it sounds a bit awful because he's basically saying like, oh yeah, I was abused as a kid and stuff like that. I'm like, oh man. And I was like, so I want to talk about aliens. and that's the way it's edited.
Straight away, yeah.
But, we have
That's not how it played out in real life.
No, yeah, there was a lot of trimming that went on. But
great work again though, Tom.
Malcolm J. Brenner, the Dolphin lover.
Yeah. Sick, and many more hopefully interviews to come.
Yeah. So I guess
there's some lined up, and Tom's got his list. Checking it twice.
There's a big list of people that we're trying to get. Some are a bit more difficult than others. That we have had a couple. I'll talk to you guys after. We have had a couple decline, but we'll get some good ones.
Nice.
Don't tell me S off Fatty's declined.
I haven't reached out to him yet. I'm gathering more intel. So
you cracking on with your stories as well?
Yeah. So I'll bang out one of them, and this one's pretty funny, I guess. I'm going to link it for you. This is a man who injected himself with magic mushrooms, and the fungi started to grow in his blood system.
I saw this headline come up.
Yeah.
Go on. I didn't actually read it.
Yeah, so essentially, a 30-year-old man. Oh, okay. It says he has bipolar disorder. I didn't get that far.
Literally just follow the headline.
I didn't get 5 words into it. Yeah. A 30-year-old man with bipolar disorder injected himself with magic mushrooms, which contain the psychedelic drug psilocybin, in a failed attempt at a trip. Psychedelic mushrooms are meant to be eaten or drank, not injected. The mushrooms grew in the man's bloodstream and caused his body to go into organ failure. He's being treated with long-term use of antifungals and antibiotics. It is fucking mental. Obviously, this guy, now I know he has bipolar disorder, which is mentally unstable. But, maybe he was taking psychedelics to help out with his bipolar disorder. Well, yeah,
people do that. And does it say in there whether or not, but like he was doing it to try and ease symptoms or something? Because there are a lot of people who believe that microdosing it and stuff like that
I think
can ease symptoms and stuff. All kinds of because it does alter. The point of it is it does alter your state of mind. So a lot of people think that you have an altered state of mind when you suffer with mental health issues. Yeah. So why not try and alter it the other way? And it could be positive.
I think it does say that he'd read about the potential for them to
now that I'm actually reading the article, it says that he had bipolar disorder type 1. I don't know, didn't know there was types, but the doctors who wrote the case study learned he hadn't been taking his medications, so he'd been going through manic and depressive episodes. During recent episodes related to his bipolar disorder, he researched how he could decrease his opioid use at home, his family said. That's when he read about the potential for psilocybin, the drug found in psychedelic mushrooms, aka magic mushrooms. So I guess he was reading about them. But surely...
injected it in, that's deep, man.
Yeah.
So it says that they were growing, like they were physically growing
was it fucking him up?
In his veins.
Yeah, like, so I actually went to a fungal, like, museum or like a like an exhibition. It was like a fungus exhibition or something that Rosie wanted to go to, and it was quite a small one, but there was like a thing that was like the history of mushrooms and fungus and how they've been used in all different cultures and stuff. And then there was another bit that was all about the psychedelic nature of them. And then there was a part that was maybe like the more scientific side of it. And they were talking about how fungus can grow anywhere. Like, it's so, I guess not anywhere. Like, it essentially has to be damp and dark, and it can grow. And that's like the inside of a human, I guess. It's damp and dark. But
so was it just really like spores were starting to develop? I doubt like actual little mushroom, like, you know, they put that picture up and you're half expecting little mushrooms inside him.
It says doctors found mushrooms growing inside the man's bloodstream.
Oh, that's a I can't.
Yeah, so it says when people want to trip on psychedelic mushrooms, they consume them as is or in the form of powder put into a capsule or tea that is then swallowed. So you're only meant to eat it, really. It's meant to go in your stomach and then, you know, get digested, and then the chemicals give you a nice little trip. But
do you reckon he was tripping? Because obviously he was really unwell. He was like fucked, but
he must
would it be giving him
Yeah.
some sort of crazy trip?
It must have
with it in his bloodstream.
Yeah, but I don't think it would have. Maybe actually.
I don't know whether
Yeah.
it has, you know, like some drugs work via the bloodstream and others are absorbed.
Well, I think the impact it was having on his organs was probably having a stronger effect on him than the mental side effects, probably. Yeah. It says in the main case study, but the man in the case study boiled the mushrooms in water, filtered the liquid through a cotton swab, and then injected the substance into his bloodstream.
Jesus.
So basically just boiled them and I guess concentrated.
Just tried to take mushrooms intravenously.
Yeah. A couple of days later, he started to become overly tired, vomited blood, developed jaundice, diarrhea, and nausea. His family found him soon after and took him to the hospital.
Christ.
I
think he probably was tripping balls as well then.
Yeah.
I imagine so. Because surely if you was throwing up blood and had all those symptoms, you would go straight to the hospital.
Yeah,
and it's not even like he was in America where he's like, oh, the medical bill's going to be crazy. He was in the Netherlands. Like, you know, they've got good shit out there, right?
Yeah.
It does say here that when the doctors met the man, he couldn't give coherent interview answers. So, you know, he was probably just absolutely wrecked.
Absolutely sideways.
He had a liver injury. His kidneys weren't functioning properly and started to go into organ failure. Fucking hell. He probably had like half a day left and he would have been dead.
Has he made it through recovery, or is he still in? Is this like a recent thing? Is he still in hospital at the moment?
I think he's out, and he just needs to keep taking antifungal medication and antibiotics. But it says here, like, to answer the question about whether they were growing or not, the mushrooms, which thrive in dark places, had begun to grow in the man's bloodstream, causing the aforementioned health issues. He needs to be put on a ventilator to breathe, and his blood filtered for toxins. So I guess they just filtered his blood. I don't know how they do that, but, you know, blood.
Coke goes out through a machine, doesn't it?
Yeah, you take it out, filter it, and put it back in again. It's like how they get the plasma out of your blood.
Or something, or isn't that like part of cancer treatment? People have to go for dialysis. Dialysis is, oh no, that's your kidneys.
Yeah, that's that. They take your blood out and put it back in again. Yeah.
Yeah, he was kept in
4 hours at a time. You just have to sit there, didn't you?
Yeah. A bit boring, isn't it?
Rubbish.
Doctors kept the man in the hospital for 22 days and gave him 2 antibiotics and 1 antifungal treatment. 2 antibiotics. What? He was kept here for 22 days, given 2 antibiotics.
Maybe they mean 2 different courses of antibiotics, not like, here's 2 tablets on your way.
Yeah. It says you can't have more than 2. That's in 4 hours. No. Which he was prescribed to continue taking for the long term after he left hospital. And that was that. I wonder what kind of trip he was having. I bet he did have a good trip before.
Doesn't sound good.
He started.
I bet that was not pleasant.
Before he started, dying.
I wonder if he's signed off of mushrooms now. That's it.
I mean, it would,
because it sounds like that was his first time, like trying.
Maybe not. Maybe he was a seasoned mushroom user and was like,
it says
the amount I'm doing it so far ain't doing it enough.
Because it did say on there that he'd read or he'd heard about effects of them on like depression and stuff. So maybe,
maybe
I don't know, maybe he was already taking them and then he's thought, oh, maybe I should get back into them.
Surely if he was
But,
googling them,
if this was your first time taking magic mushrooms and you almost died because you grew them inside your blood, maybe you're signing
Probably
off.
put you off a little, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
someone did comment on the this was posted on Reddit, and someone commented and said similar to what you said, which was, imagine if it did keep growing and just kept him high forever. And he said, I'd save so much money.
Well, like you can imagine, like, you know, that like Futurama episode where he has like 50 cups of coffee in a day or something like that, innit? And have you seen that one? And when he gets number 50, he like pings to like this godlike creature. Like maybe that's just what he would have became. He would have been this like and this like almighty enlightened being.
Maybe.
Because people say that when you trip on mushrooms or like DMT and stuff like that you're actually accessing another dimension.
I love all that stuff.
Yeah,
He just gets permanently trapped in that dimension.
He's just there. And he just walks around this enlightened being. He's like Buddha. You know, like he reaches nirvana straight away. Like,
have you seen? There's a really good theory about a tangent about people taking LSD and like psychedelics to interact with like gods and stuff. Obviously, you've got things like ayahuasca in the Amazon, and I think there's peyote as well, where tribes use that as part of their like cultural traditions to interact with their ancestors and stuff.
I think peyote is the cactus from which you extract ayahuasca, I think. But
is it? I thought ayahuasca is in the Amazon. I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Either or. I think they like the similar sort of things, right?
Yeah.
But there was a good Joe Rogan guest called Graham Hancock. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
I've seen him, yeah.
So his big thing is that he believes there was like a civilization, an advanced civilization that was wiped out sort of however long ago. Not like us, not advanced to the level of today, but like advanced enough. And that it used to revolve around the use of psychedelics.
Oh, what a time to live!
To talk to their ancestors.
I was born in the wrong generation.
And he believes that now, that these tribes that still use ayahuasca are like the last remnants of that, sort of culture or that way of life. And it is interesting, like when you hear about people's experiences of ayahuasca and DMT, like. It sounds mental. I mean, I'd love to do ayahuasca. Lynn's like dead against it.
A lot of people talk about experiencing the same thing as well, don't they? They talk about this exact
like really
same
similar thing, like a being, like a god, but they all describe it the same way.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. If anyone wants to like listen to it, it's just interesting hearing him talk about this culture and his theories of this, lost civilization. That it all lines up with all of these global cataclysms and. It's really, really, really good. There's 2 or 3 episodes.
They are good.
Yeah, the ayahuasca stuff is really interesting.
Recommendations there.
Here we go. This is not going to turn into a recommendation podcast.
No, we'll help out Joe Rogan get a few more listeners now.
Well, I heard he's struggling since he's gone over to Spotify now. People don't like it. He's not on YouTube anymore.
I don't think that's true. I'm sure he gets a healthy amount.
He's yeah. There's one more I'll talk about. It'll be this is a quick one,
Go on.
Still along
I also want to know one of your ones that turned out to not be true.
Okay. This one's another drug-related one, but man tried to smuggle $34,000 worth of cocaine under his toupee. This one's mostly funny because of the photo. So if you click on that article that I sent, there's a photo that those police Twitter accounts that we all love. They tweeted, this is like the national police of Spain, I think. He was going through Barcelona airport and he was caught smuggling a big bag of cocaine on his head. It's under his toupee. His hair just looks so. That's ridiculous. And then
that's brilliant.
So they've taken a photo of him, like a profile shot with the toupee on, and then they've got a face on mugshot of him with the toupee off and just a bag sitting on his head.
I like the way they've made him pose with that bag on still. And it must just be like at customs as well. They've done that.
And he was like the what gave it away. It wasn't like the big lump on his head, but he was just
Oh,
walking
oh,
really.
no,
up.
he's gone.
George.
He's cut off. Oh, there he
Oh,
is.
no,
You're
he's
back.
he's back.
You're back.
Sorry about that.
You cut off.
I was just saying. Do you think the reason why he got caught? It wasn't like the hair. It was just because he was walking around really straight.
Yeah, he
time,
must have been.
Yeah.
Must have, because you can't really tape it down much, can you? Unless you put like double-sided tape under it or like 3M
I don't know.
tape,
How do
maybe.
toupees stay on? Are they like glued on, or are they just?
Some sort of tape, probably, isn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Do like toupee glue?
Or do they have like a little chin strap?
Like, it only works if you also have a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it says here, the precariously perched hairpiece, documented in photos tweeted by the agency, raised authorities' suspicion at the airport in Barcelona. Spanish paper La Vanguardia reported hidden underneath was 0.5 kilogram, about a pound of cocaine. Side by side photos.
Kilogram, what's that? 500 grams.
Yeah.
500. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, big old bag. It says one picture captures the dark-coloured toupee protruding several inches above his head, oddly thick in contrast to the close-cropped hair below. The other shows what appears to be the package the police say he is trying to smuggle through the airport. Not pictured is the hat that the police say the toupee bulged out of. So,
Yeah, that as well. Brilliant.
I love it. It says here the man who appeared nervous. I mean, I would be nervous if I had.
I get
that
nervous
toupee
walking
on.
through the airport as a perfectly,
Yeah, like a
law-abiding,
reasonable person.
innocent man.
Yeah.
I love that picture of him without the toupee and just a little bag on his head. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So good.
I know someone that. I mean, obviously, no names mentioned, but someone that I know of someone that I know smuggled some weed back from Amsterdam once, and thought it'd be a good idea to tape it to their bell end. Like taped it all round like this thing like that. And I remember like a load of us saying afterwards, like you better off just having it in your pocket. Like it really weren't that much either. It wasn't like it was loads. It was probably like
Yeah.
a 20 bag, and just like taped it to the. It's like if you get caught like that, you're trying to smuggle.
Yeah.
Whereas if you like
Yeah, at least you could say, "Oh, I forgot." Oh,
whatever.
Yeah, I
yeah.
forgot.
It
They probably
was
get
such
it
a
all the
small-
time where they'll just be like, yeah, take it off you. And like,
Yeah, just take it off you probably.
Yeah.
But,
You
but
could
like
just say-
that, it
you
looks
could
like you're
also
really
try it.
trying.
You say, "Why have you got loads of marijuana in your foreskin?" So, "Oh, I just forgot."
Yeah. Yeah, it must have been so uncomfortable as well. I mean, it's not a long flight, but
Oh God, it's brilliant. That and the clip of the Santa busting down a door from the last
that was
episode.
great. That was
They're
good.
two of my favourite little police things, I think, so far.
that was.
Have you
I
got
love
two
it.
different flasks with you, Tom? Have you got like one with different items in?
No, they're both filled with water, but I just finished one.
Oh, okay.
I drink a
Oh,
lot of
okay.
water. It's so
Yeah,
hot in
fucking
my room.
hell, yeah. And this is if
Yeah.
you don't need a piss.
I will do it. I will do
a
it
small
now.
cup of
Yeah.
tea. Yeah.
I can't leave. If I need a wee, I can't get back into position here, so I need to just we just have to wee.
Just go where you are. Yeah, you're moving out anyway, so fuck it.
You've already got a leak, so just have a leak on the floor.
Yeah.
A yellow leak.
All right, so in the ones that I definitely think are fake. One that I know is fake. This one was hilarious. Confused, jealous wife stabs husband after seeing younger self in photos. So the story is that this woman saw a photo on this guy's phone. Like he'd set his wallpaper to a picture of her and him when they were younger, and she thought it was a photo of him with a much younger woman. Like had his arm around this younger woman. So she stabbed
Oh, I
him.
heard about this. Is it fake?
Yeah. So
Oh, no.
she started stabbing him, and he was like, he tried to explain, like, no, you just look different because you was a lot younger then. And then she just carried on like stabbing him. The story is that he survived, and she's in prison. There's a mugshot here, but if you reverse image search at a photo, it comes up from a completely different story.
So it's just not true in the slightest.
Yeah, someone's just made that up.
Do you not think that maybe they've just used like a photo because it says photo contributed? Like the story could be true, but that photo might just be one.
But they didn't
that
have a
they've just
photo.
grabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean that looks like just a cartel photo or like Mexican drug bust or something, right? She's just like being cool. So maybe the actual story is true.
But they needed pictures, artwork
Yeah.
for it, so they went.
I really want it to be true.
It could be true, maybe.
Yeah.
There's another article here which is even longer based on it, but yeah, it says like he also added that back in time they looked different as they were both young and slim. And I guess maybe she weren't happy about that either. But yeah, that was a story that I don't think was real.
We'll see. Maybe that can be on the return of Was We Chatting Shit last week?
Maybe I'll get an interview with her.
Or
him. Yeah. Maybe we should just have a fake news episode where we just find ridiculous fake articles.
I think that's probably some of the episodes of
Okay.
all of George's Daily Star articles.
Yeah. Go into the archive, the Curios Cast archive.
There was another one. This one was in the news only about a week or two ago, so I'm hoping that you guys don't have this as one of yours. But teenagers offer free squirts of hand sanitizer to shoppers in Bradford, but it's super glue. And,
no, I did not see that.
This was I saw it everywhere. It was like in the metro. You know, all the outlets are tweeting about it. Everyone's retweeting and laughing about it. But it says that apparently these teenagers were hanging around outside like a supermarket and just offering people like, oh, free hand sanitizer. Like, we're just trying to keep everyone safe. And the story is a quote from this woman, Kathy Smith, says she almost accepted and had no doubts. Has no doubts the boy with the bottle would have squirted it in her hands had she held them out, but she stopped short when some of the group let out a laugh. The lad approached me, showing me the bottle of sanitizer, asking if I'd like a free pump. She said he was he was eagerly waiting for me to hold out my hand with a massive smile on his face. They all started to laugh. I asked what's in the bottle. He said sanitizer while laughing. I heard one of the lads laughing and he said fucking super glue. They all walked off with a laugh when I said, "I'll pass, thanks."
So is this one that turned out not to be true? You saying?
I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. Like, just because
it's pretty savage, to be honest. Like, it's a pretty savage prank.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like,
I saw a photo on Twitter as well, where someone had taken a screenshot of this article and then taken a photo, and the comment was, my dad got tricked by these kids outside Morrison's or whatever, and it was just him standing in the living room with a shopping basket still in his hand, like it was like it was stuck to his hand. I don't know. I was just kind of reading it, and I don't think it's true, but it's funny.
I reckon this could be true as well.
It probably could be true. I mean, like, kids and teenagers do some fucked up shit.
Kids are pricks, yeah. They wouldn't quite think about the consequences of how much they can fuck someone up.
But that woman then is stupid. Like, if a bunch of teenagers come up to me and it's like free hand sanitizer, you know, why? Like, fuck off. Like,
I'm not entertaining this.
Not taking
clearly.
anything from a random teenager outside a shop.
Yeah. Where I'm probably about to get some free hand sanitizer on the way in.
And
that's why it seems unlikely to be true, because who is saying yes to that?
Yeah. And then I found this one, which was a man who got busted for having a secret tunnel built between his home and his married lover's house. So apparently this bricklayer in Mexico was having an affair with a neighbor, and I guess wanted like a little secret passage so he didn't have to go out the front door or anything. So built a secret tunnel. And there's a photo which definitely is just it's just a tunnel
of a hole.
Yeah, it's just a hole. But yeah, and then he went to go visit Pamela, his lover, and his her husband, I don't know if it's George or Jorge, but arrived home early from his job as a security worker. He checked under the bed, didn't find anyone there because he became suspicious for some reason. And then he spotted Alberto hiding behind the couch, but after moving the couch, found that Alberto had disappeared. He then found a hole in the floor that led to a concealed underground secret tunnel beneath his home. He climbed into the passage and pursued Albert. After crawling along it, found that it led to Alberto's home. It's not clear how long the tunnel was, why, but the couples were reportedly neighbours. And then Alberto pleaded with Jorge to not disclose the affair to his own wife, who was asleep in the house at the time. But it says that he did tell her, and then they had a fist fight, and then someone called the police. I just think that one's not true at all. Like, imagine a moment of going behind your sofa, and then you realise there's a massive hole in your floor leading to a
like there'd be
secret
a
underground
draft,
tunnel.
all kinds of.
Yeah.
The ambience would have been different.
Yeah.
Imagine wanting to have an affair so much that you dig a tunnel into someone else's house as well.
Yeah, and like,
I
no
need a
one noticed
photo
that.
of Pamela just to see if she is worth digging a tunnel for.
Yeah,
I
and
doubt
it's
it.
like, they would have been really observant. Like his wife was so observant he couldn't sneak out the door and into her door. However, he could be under the house, both houses, for weeks with a pneumatic drill, like digging away, and no one thought to ask, "What the fuck is that?"
I love it.
Brilliant.
That is my list of probably fake stories.
Excellent. Well, on that note, I think I'd like to go next with my didn't really think about it, probably fake stories. I just assumed, didn't do the due diligence that you did, Tom. So they could be a load of shit. Well, one of them's definitely not a load of shit. One of them, it's probably likely. Another one is just like, like you said, there's really not much to it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So they could have easily just made it up. It's about a paragraph, but the idea of it amused me, and it reminded me of a real life story. So I'll bring that one up. But the first one I came across, right, just because I was talking about that, I said earlier, I found this website, right?
Yeah.
With loads of different, deep in there, so they have like a weird news section, and I thought I'll never find anything that we spoke about before. But I found this woman couldn't find herself a man, so she married an 18th century pirate ghost.
Yeah,
that was your one, wasn't it, George?
There was an update to that story a little while ago. I was going to bring it up, but it wasn't like a really interesting one. It was just she was talking about. I think she's managed to secure a divorce, and now she's making. She wants to get the word out that people need to be aware of mental health. So she sort of come full circle and wants to spread the word.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
it was a good one. That was a good.
It just made me smile when I came across that. But no, one thing. Where is he? Right, yeah. So this was one that I found on a different website, which actually led me to this one. And this one, basically, again, it's one of those ones where the title kind of says it all, but it is quite interesting. Fraudsters con doctor out of $93,000 by conjuring a genie to sell him Aladdin's lamp. So these fraudsters it's in India, I think. So it's actually rupees. It says the amount in rupees, but that's what it converts to in dollars. They basically pretended that they had this lamp. And it was like a genie lamp, and they managed to con this guy and convince him to buy it off them. It says here that he was told it was it was an old Aladdin's lamp, and they put it in inverted commas. He was told it was inhabited by an all-powerful genie. The doctor fell prey to the scheme and shelled out tens of thousands of dollars to possess the supposedly powerful lamp. According to The Guardian, the victim identified as if it was, this article isn't in The Guardian, but maybe it was originally. The victim, identified as a man named Laik Khan in Uttar Pradesh, India, bought the fake Aladdin's lamp from a gang of reputed con artists. In his police complaint, Khan alleged that he'd met the group of scanners while treating a woman who he thought was their mother. Gradually, they started telling me about a Baba, and in brackets says priest. Babas are kind of like, they said priest in brackets here, but I think Babas are more like, kind of like deities. Yeah, holy men, yeah. And like, they might just be like a guy with a really long beard is a Baba, and they say, and he grows his beard to be more holy. But they say there's a guy like that visited their home. They started brainwashing me and asked me to meet this Baba, so they've sort of tricked him. The so-called priest somehow made, so this Baba guy made a jinn, or genie, so it must be the Indian word for it, jinn maybe, appear from the lamp, which Khan later realised was just one of the scammers wearing a costume. I'd love to, I wish there was a picture of that. I'd love to know what they look like.
It's like a pantomime.
Yeah, I know, it sounds like it, doesn't it? But apparently it was enough to convince him that he'd witnessed a supernatural being coming out of the lamp. Yeah, he said, I did not know who this person was at the time. I later realised the accused was dressing up as Aladdin. I thought he was dressing up as Aladdin. I don't know, that's a bit confusing, that bit, because surely they weren't coming out as Aladdin, they were coming out as the genie. Anyway.
I have no sympathy for anyone who buys a genie lamp.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
he shouldn't
know.
be. He shouldn't be a doctor, really, should he? If he's falling
No.
Yeah, it's strange, that isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
how can he fix people? But
I guess
I'm-
they're like really being super religious, and I think, in India, a vast majority of people, do believe in like the traditional sort of Babas, and
Well, it
that's
says
a big
in here
part
as
of
well.
their culture and stuff. So I
Yeah.
suppose if you've grown up sort of, maybe he lives a bit more rural and he's not. I think education's quite a big thing in India. If people live really rural, they haven't necessarily got the same level of sort of comprehension, even though he's a doctor. So you would have thought
there is a
he'd have a
vast gap, isn't there?
disparity, yeah.
Disparity. But it does mention about like what we know as Aladdin from the Disney tale. Is a classic folklore tale in India. So it's not like he necessarily would have been like, oh, that's just Aladdin from the
Yeah.
fucking tale. It's more just like, this is a folklore which is almost a true story. You know what I mean? It's just like as much as like religion is a true story.
Like
you
Robin
might have,
Hood.
Robin Hood and stuff like that. Robin Hood, that's topical, eh?
We'll stay off that. We'll be lost in the weeds. Yeah.
I think that's been covered, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, they struck a deal for much more. But a doctor, so apparently, he'd agreed to pay more than 93,000, but ended up maybe haggled them. Maybe that was the
Oh,
deal. Maybe
he
that's
got a
how they
bargain.
get you in it. Yeah, he knocks them down. They paid about 7 million rupees,
Not as
which
silly
is
as we think.
93. Oh no, yeah, it could have been worse. The men had reportedly offered the fake lamp for a much higher price of $200,000. Eventually realised he'd been duped and reported to crime. Eventually, when he rubbed the lamp and nothing happened. Yeah, and I wasn't sure it was real, so I did Google it, and there are a few articles on it. This is the one I ended up was just the most worth kind of reading, but I like to think it's true.
It's also, if anybody had a genie lamp that was powerful and I guess could grant wishes, or whether that's actually the true story, but that's priceless. Like
You wouldn't.
You
yeah,
can't
why would
sell
you
it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, even if I had that lamp and you said, "Oh, I'll give you £1 billion," well, no.
Yeah.
I'll just wish
Yeah.
for £1 billion and £1. Like,
Yeah. No, you can't wish for money, can you? Can you not wish, or can you wish for money? What does the genie say? You can't wish for more wishes.
yeah,
Maybe you can wish for money.
probably could, but then there's always the
Can't bring people back from the dead. Can't make them fall in love with you. But yeah, I guess you can wish for money. Yeah.
yeah. But then
yeah.
I don't know. Is it like a monkey paw type situation where you ask for money and then they give it to you in some kind of like worthless value, or say, "Oh yeah, here's all your money,"
Yeah.
but it's at the bottom of the sea
Yeah.
or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Be good if you ask for the money and it just disappeared from someone else's life. Like there's just sort of, it's not
Yeah.
creating new money. It's just repurposing existing money.
I wish for that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guys. I wish for Jeff Bezos's money.
Yeah.
I wish for instant transfer of Jeff Bezos's shares into
Oh.
my 212 account.
I think 212
trading
would just
platforms are
explode,
available.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. Now this other article I saw in the headline and I thought it was topical based on our episode today, so I thought I've got to talk about it. Wasn't as funny as I first hoped. Some of them, I mean, I don't know why I thought it'd be funny, because it's about dictators. But the headline is "From bathing in dolphin blood
Yeah.
to making creepy tapes. Here are 8 crazy things the world dictators did. The world's dictators. So it sort of sets it up in a kind of jovial
Yeah,
tone.
yeah.
Some of them are a bit like crazy. Other of them are a bit like, okay, that's just bleak. So I'm pretty much just going to read. It lists them, and I'm just pretty much going to read them and not go into the depth of them because it kind of says it all, really.
Yep.
I'm going to butcher these names as well.
That's even better.
Supermurat Niyazov.
Mm-hmm.
Supermurat Niyazov, former president of Turkmenistan, sent a copy of his book to space for aliens to read. So you can believe that, and it kind of just, I mean, it summarizes it. He had a book written about himself as like religious propaganda, and he was obsessed with it. So he was like, even the aliens need to read this. So they legitimately sent it up in a rocket.
Fair enough.
So they could learn a thing or two about Turkmenistan.
They've sent,
I want to read it.
Yeah, didn't they send like a time capsule into space with like the Beatles in it and like
It's like golden record.
diagram
Yeah,
of
they had
like
a record in it or something. Yeah.
what
Didn't they do
people
a
look
thing
like
where-
and stuff.
didn't they beam a song or something as well? Like from a space station, they beamed an album or something as well, like to constantly play. And they were like, we want to play this to aliens out there. So they sent off a shuttle with a song playing, I think, as well,
maybe.
or an album playing. I might have imagined that. I might have
No, I
extrapolated
think
that from.
No, I thought they like aimed it at a part of space and they just like played it, and then obviously it stopped, but it would just keep going forever because obviously space has expanded. So at some point, an alien's going to hear it. Like that wow signal. Have you ever heard about that?
Yeah.
What's that? Nah.
Like back in, I think it was the 70s. There was, I guess it was like a, not a
big satellite dish.
A telescope. That's it. I was trying to think of what I was going to say. A big space looky thing. Like a big telescope.
Big
but it was looking at radar, not radar. Like radiation waves and like sound waves and things like that, rather than like looking for stuff. And as sound and stuff comes from space, it gave a reading on these graphs. It was like numbers or science speak or whatever. But there was like a sudden spike, so there was like some sort of noise from a deep part of space that came and went for like however long, maybe 10 seconds or so. That wasn't natural because it's never happened again ever since. And like at the time, the person that saw it wrote "wow" next to it because it was like something they couldn't explain. They still can't explain it. They don't know where it came from. They've tried beaming things back towards where it came, where the sound came from, because they thought, well, maybe it was like a star exploding or like a supernova or something. But you have like echoes of stuff like that, I think, and they haven't been able to explain it. So maybe it was that song. Maybe that song went all the way, or that book. Sorry, maybe it was the book. The book went all the way out, and it like hit some sort of spaceship, some sort of like UFO, and caused a nuclear explosion on board an entire alien civilization.
I was thinking
single-handedly destroyed.
I was thinking they read it and they was like, we need to send back a wow because this is good. Like they read the book and was like, this is brilliant. We need to let the humans know. Wow.
Yeah, and it somehow went via a black hole, so it ended up back in time. So we got it.
It's shit.
Back there. It's shit, yeah. The second one is Gaddafi. How do you say his first name? Muammar Gaddafi made Condoleezza Rice a creepy videotape during her visit. So there was some the US Secretary of State at the time. He called her "my darling black woman." He also gave an interview where he confessed his love for her. He said, Lisa, I love her very much. I admire her and I'm proud of her because she's a black woman of African heritage, he said in a 2007 interview.
I thought it was going to be a rhyme. I thought it was going to be Lisa. I love her very much.
He apparently made a video. He brought her in to show her a video once, and it was a collage of her interacting with world leaders in the background of the song Flower in the White House.
Weird,
yeah. I fuck knows how to say this guy's name, sorry. Nikolai Susezu.
Romanian. Cuscu or something?
Cuscu. Butchering that. Former president of Romania used to wear new suits every day and used to burn the old ones. That's pretty fucking mad, isn't it? I mean, it's kind of like...
It was mental that he lived like absolute wealth whilst the whole country was just fucked. Like he built this massive building. It's like the biggest building in the world in Bucharest. I saw it a couple of years ago. It's massive. It's like the size of half of London, this one building, and he spent like probably
equivalent
2/3 of the country's GDP. Yeah,
Jesus,
it's mental.
That's fucked, isn't it?
How tone deaf.
Mugabe apparently Robert Mugabe used to send animals from the zoo as gifts to other nations. I mean, and he once sent an entire ark of animals to North Korea's Kim Jong-il as a gift. Mental.
Enough.
Did he check ahead of time whether they had like the capacity to deal with it?
Yeah, I know.
Have they got a zoo or
probably not a thought-through plan, is it? Kim Il Sung used to take blood transfusions from men and women who are in their 20s to look young. As the Prime Minister of North Korea, apparently. Yeah, that's pretty mad. Where's the dolphin blood one? Here you go. Ne Win, the head of the state of Burma, bathed in dolphin blood as a similar thing. He used to think that it made you look young.
It's like that. There was like a serial killer hundreds of years ago called something Bathory, and she was like one of the inspirations for Dracula.
I was going to say that. Yeah, they believe it was Dracula. Yeah,
yeah. She used to like get her like staff to kidnap like virgins and like kids from around the surrounding villages.
Yeah.
And they get brought back and murdered, and then she used to have baths in her blood, and it was like legit true. Like
She was a wealthy noblewoman, wasn't she?
yeah, Elizabeth. I think it was Elizabeth Bathory.
Is that the one where the house had all these actual like? They found a house afterwards, and there were all these like disappearing rooms, and that was that a different one? Was that a hotel or something? There was another story where it's like a true story that sounds like too mad to be true, and
that might be the the Winchester mansion.
Oh yeah, that might
and
be,
it was
yeah.
like the like Winchester guns, Winchester rifles, like the heiress to that fortune. She, I think she probably had some like mental illness, but she got it in her head that she was being haunted by all the spirits of all the people that the guns had killed. So like her grandparents and her dad obviously founded this company, and millions of people got killed by Winchesters, like in the Wild West and stuff. So she thought she could never. Her idea was that she'd keep building her house, constantly building, so they'd never find her. There'd be all these passages and doors in the house that the ghosts wouldn't be able to find her in the house. So she used to like, obviously it was a constant building project, and there'd be like doors to nowhere. Like a door would open, it would just be like the outside of the house, like a sheer drop, or it would be like blank walls. There'd be doors in the floors, doors in the ceilings. And she used to like hire the builders and fire them the same day, so no one knew the exact layout and all that sort of
That's
stuff.
mad.
And it's still there. You can go and tour, like have a tour around the Winchester mansion.
That is cool. I want to do that.
Yeah.
If I ever go to wherever Winchester is.
Yeah, that's not the one I was thinking of anyway. I'll find the one I was thinking of for next time.
Is that, it might be the serial killer. Is it the serial killer?
Yeah, it's something to do with serial killer, and there's like bleak, like, trapdoors and stuff like that in this room.
Was it like a murder hotel or something?
Yeah, like a murder hotel or something. People go in and get killed. And
H.H. Holmes. I know all this.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just have this stuff
I
inside you. I love it.
I think there's a film, I'm sure that I read that Leonardo DiCaprio is making a film about him. That's his next.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if it's a Quentin Tarantino film or. But it's quite interesting, like reading it. He was like the first serial killer in America, apparently. Like like what you define a serial killer as.
Yeah.
Started a trend.
Okay.
What's this Titanic 2 people are talking about?
Titanic 2?
Oh, we'll look it up and chat about it afterwards. Apparently there's a film called Titanic 2, and it's sort of like a B movie, I think. My mate was telling me about it earlier.
Oh, okay. That sounds funny. What, they just make another Titanic and it goes awfully or something?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the other article I had was, again, just because I thought it was pretty on brand. Meet Li Chen, the single dad from China who lives with 7 sex dolls and considers them family. What might be strange to you is another person's normal. Whether or not 58-year-old man Li Chen from Hishui in China's I'm butchering this again. Jizhou province has considered this will not know. He anyway seems unfazed by what someone might say or think. While the dad to 18-year-old, he has actually got a real kid, lives under a pseudonym, he didn't shy away from a camera. Yeah, there's loads of pictures of him with these sex dolls, right? And with this move, he's introduced us to his 7 silicone sex dolls that said he doesn't sleep with them, but keeps them as one would a family by grooming them and taking care of their plastic needs in case any were to arise. He's fascinated with the dolls. His fascination with the dolls started in 2004 when his son was only 5 and his wife had divorced him. While he may not do so himself, he encourages his son Yang to use the dolls to satisfy his biological needs.
Wait, how old is his son now?
That's weirder than doing it yourself.
It's
like
really weird, isn't it? There's a picture. I'll put his son looks like a teenager. He's like a teenager, I guess.
Didn't you say he was 18? Did you just say that, or did I mishear?
What a cool dad.
Doesn't say. No, it doesn't say. What a cool dad. Yeah, it's pretty bleak. I wish I'd actually looked up, done some Tom diligence here on this, because there's a video beneath, but it's unavailable. Like all these quite old articles, I think. So all the videos, none of them were actually working anymore.
Oh, that doll is terrifying.
It's creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
And why does that exist, man? As if that top one's that's fucked, isn't it?
All of them, like that room, his room with that post. I don't even know what it is on the wall, like a blanket on the wall.
It's fucking horrible, isn't it? It's like a painting, I think.
They're not even good-looking dolphins? Sex dolls.
No, they're not like those high-quality ones that we spoke about before.
No, they're not they're not real dolls.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the brand. But no, these
His son
are-
looks pretty old, doesn't he? He looks like 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's old enough to shag a doll.
She actually looks like the second doll down, the one that's in the thumbnail. Actually looks like that. You know, that it's in that girl that's like an actress, and she's like real life Barbie,
Oh, yeah.
and she just looks like that, doesn't
the
it?
one he's carrying.
The one he's carrying, yeah. But yeah, there
I'm
you
not into
go.
that. He can, he can do it. Nothing against that, but keep it away from me.
Yeah, his son is
Yeah, that's the
21.
strangest part of the article. That's the strangest part of the article, isn't it? That I don't shag him, but you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fill your boots, son.
Do you reckon he has to sign them out if he wants to? You know, like he has to tick it off on a sheet so his dad knows, all right, he's taken
Do you reckon
Sandra out.
his dad cleans it out afterwards as well?
Oh,
Oh.
Well, he does
It was the
say.
worst thing. I
about-
think
Yeah.
with anything like that, I always think that's what an awful moment that is when you have to clean it. Like you'd be in such regret,
Horrendous.
and you feel so disgusted with yourself cleaning that fucking thing out.
I can't remember
As if
I can't remember if we spoke about this on the podcast, but there was a girl that I went to university with, and on our first or second magazine we produced, she interviewed. I forget. It might have been in Amsterdam or somewhere, or maybe it was in somewhere in Europe. This sex doll brothel. So instead of having prostitutes there,
read
it was
about
just
those.
sex dolls.
Yeah.
And again, obviously, there's people there that are just their job is just to clean the
Ugh.
rooms and clean the sex dolls and stuff.
Christ. Yeah, I think we did
Um,
speak about this once.
Yeah, I feel like we
Yeah.
maybe did because you just don't interact with anyone. You know, you just turn up. Your keys almost just like in a little, like an Amazon locker.
Oh,
I
that's
guess.
quite good.
But it's just weird that someone's then got you just leave all your detritus
Oh,
in the
mate,
room.
that is a bad job.
quite
Innit?
like-
Bad jobs
yeah.
go. Fuck me.
I do
Oh,
quite
yeah.
like the I like efficiency like that though. Like,
Yeah, the
you know.
model is a good one. It's a good,
Yeah.
good business.
yeah.
But what would you rather do? Would you rather do that job cleaning out the sex dolls, or would you rather clean the toilets at like a festival? You know, and you see them go around at like.
Oh yeah.
I'd clean the sex dolls.
Would you?
I mean, I've seen it at a lot of festivals, and in the big
At like Reading, say.
Yeah,
At like
I
Reading, when they
Reading,
clean out the
they
troughs.
they just chuck the massive hose in there. It's like a hose that's like got the thickness
Yeah,
of
I've
like
seen
a
them do it, and they
basketball or
suck it
something.
out. Yeah.
And then it just sucks everything out. But you can smell it. You
And
still have
it's
to walk
awful,
around
isn't
with it smelling.
Yeah.
And things must go wrong. Like it splits and like.
Well, wasn't there
shit's-
like there was a
Oh.
famous event, or like not a famous, like well known at Reading or Leeds or somewhere where there was a problem with like the poo sucker outer and it ruptured or something.
It sounds like one of those like
Split,
classic.
that sounds like one of those rumours,
like,
yeah.
gets
It's like another
oh,
one of
my
the-
mates know someone. This bird fell down there and she got
Yeah.
stuck all weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or people always say that there was a guy in there and he was just creeping and looking up, and I looked in there, he was swimming about.
Yeah.
In it. Like also,
No, I thought it was. I think it's Glastonbury. Yeah, look,
Oh, is it real?
back in 1998.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's so
This
long
was
ago.
before the internet.
Yeah.
Well, do you know the worst thing about that as
The
well?
poo explosion.
I don't know if this is always the
That's
case, but definitely one year when I was at Reading, I saw it. The people who were cleaning it out they were like essentially volunteers. Like they were the people,
Yeah.
you know, like you can go to a festival and you get a free ticket, but you have to work certain amounts of
Yeah.
time. That they were just that, and their job was imagine doing that. Like you go in a pool and you think, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to work on the bar for a bit. That won't be so bad. And you get there and you're like, you're the toilet
Yeah.
sucker out.
Everyone's
That-
with me. I remember. I think when me and my mates were like 15, 16, and we couldn't like afford a ticket for the festival. And
yeah.
I think we went to Reading in it was 2013, and we were like 17 years old. And then and we managed to scrape together money, or our parents gave us money to get a ticket, or whatever. But the next year we didn't have enough money because we'd like just started working, had no money, blah blah blah. And we were thinking, oh, should we volunteer? And I remember like, having a conversation with my mates, like, oh, we can volunteer, we get a ticket for free. I think you do have to work like 10 hours or something, but they make you work from like early in the morning to like mid-afternoon. So then you get late afternoon and the night to enjoy the music and stuff like that. Or you do the late shift where you get to like sort of like chill in the morning and stuff like that. But it just doesn't seem worth it at all.
No, it doesn't
like
seem
you're
worth
working
it
like
at all. I
10-hour
think
shifts, like not getting paid.
Yeah, and they really work you like a slag as
Yeah,
well. I
and
think.
the
Like,
best job you can get is either walking around picking up rubbish, like a rubbish picker-upper, where you can just choose a good spot to pick up rubbish, like near the main stage or something.
Yeah.
Or I guess being on a bar ain't too bad, but it is just relentless. Like you're just constantly pouring drinks,
relentless.
right?
Yeah.
What would happen if you just disappeared? Like, how do they keep tabs on?
You have like a different wristband, so
okay.
I guess. But
They'd be looking out for you. Yeah.
Yeah, they'd probably be after you. But I don't know. Some festivals are so big. I reckon you could just chuck off that high vis and hide.
At least you could go rogue for like an afternoon, couldn't you? They might find you eventually, but
how many on the last night do you reckon just fucking chuck it in on the last day on that Sunday? Just chuck that bib in the bin,
without
and then they're just chilling for the whole Sunday.
Oh, it must be. I'm trying to think when I fucking. You were just saying that you went in 2013. I think the first time I went to Reading was like 2002 or something. Fucking getting old cunts. Well, I've got one more anyway. Cool. And this is one where it's just basically a paragraph and it's probably a load of shit, but I hope it's true. Churchgoers accidentally get high on weed cookies. Parishioner found guilty and arrested.
Love it.
It says the story reinstates our faith in the fact that anything can happen. It's really badly written. This bit. Literally anything, like getting high in church. Don't ask how, but it can happen. It's like, well, obviously you're going to ask how. You'll write an article about it. Anyway. Churchgoers at St. John's Apostle Catholic Church in Bloomington, Indiana, got high after a 74-year-old parishioner, identified only as Mr. Jones. See, shit like that makes you think, is this real? Laced the cookies with marijuana. Congregants who were gathered in the church complained of dizziness and other symptoms after having the cookies, which reportedly were unusually salty. Mr. Jones, when taken into custody, admitted making the cookies, but denied adding any illegal substance to them. However, when his house got checked, they found an orange pill bottle containing capsules of brown oily substance, which later tested positive for marijuana. Therefore, he's now been charged for the possession of hash oil. I mean, it's possible that he made them and made two batches. One were meant to be normal cookies.
Well, like a classic sketch.
Yeah, it was like a classic sketch. It does sound like that. Well, I have a mate once who, when we were much younger, he made some weed cookies. His parents had gone away. It was classic, like 3 hours, right? They'd gone on holiday. So he was like, I'll make some weed cookies. And he'd made them and he'd left them out cooling on the side and he'd gone out. And then he got a phone call from his parents telling him that they were on the way back. And he was like, well out. And he was like, what the fuck? So they'd gone in and he'd sort of, I don't know if he really remembered the cookies or anything. But I think he rushed back, whatever. But he rushed back to get these cookies. And there was one less than he had. And he just said he just packed them up, put them in the lunchbox and just fucked off and never spoke about it. Never spoke about it. But he's certain, like he counted them because he knew, like, you know, how many he'd have and like to split it up evenly sort of thing to make sure he knew what was in each one, like roughly. So he knew there was one less.
I love it.
Yeah. And he said his mum probably just thought, I feel fucked. Imagine if you did ate a weed cookie and you didn't know it was a weed cookie and you were just...
I suppose if you'd had like a long journey.
Yeah, and you just feel...
Maybe they just go have a nap or something.
Yeah. And especially if you weren't aware what being high was like, you'd feel fucked. Like, it'd be bizarre. And she probably just, probably went and lied down. Probably thought, I feel unusual, I'll go lie down. She just never brought it up. Just didn't dare bring it up.
You've seen those videos of when someone makes their own edibles or something and like their dog eats it and the dog's just like...
Hell, yeah.
And I guess it could be pretty bad, but the videos I've seen, the dog just seems to be loving it. Like, they're just sort of chilling, like just laying there with their tongue out or something, and the next morning they're fine.
I
find it mad, like about catnip, like how
that's bizarre. That's crazy.
How much it fucks cats up.
Yeah.
Like,
What actually is it? What's going on?
I've googled it before and I forgot.
It's just
because they go fucking nuts for it, don't they?
I think it's like it's like derived from some kind of herb or something.
It's just a plant, isn't it? Yeah.
That they. Although somehow, over time, people just realised, cats fucking love this thing. I know some cats don't have any reaction to it. You could put it in front of a cat and there'll be nothing at all. And then there's other times where cats are just... there was a video recently, I think, that you might have seen it. It was all over the place. But this girl's got a bag of this catnip and it's labelled cat crack or something like that, or like crack for cats, and the cat is just burying his face in there, up to his eyes, like he's just put his whole snout in there, and then and the girl's trying to like pull the bag away, and the cat's got his claws dug into her hands, so she can't like let go of the bag or anything, and the cat is just not giving up. It's a good video.
That's mad. I need to look that up.
I'd love to have
It's weird
something
how,
like that.
not all
Is
not
a
all
cat's
animals
face
have
called
that.
its snout?
No, I don't think
Is
so.
It called its...
Yeah. But like, you know, his whole nose and mouth area,
yeah.
the bit that
I
sticks
love
out.
the word snout.
Yeah.
Lynn, that's one of Lynn's favourite English words, I think. Snout.
Is it?
What is it in
That's a
Dutch?
good
Do you know?
I don't know. Shall I ask her?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Get her in. Lynn. Lynn. What's snout in Dutch? It's coming. What is snout in Dutch? Snoot.
Snout. Okay,
Can
that's,
you come and say it on the mic?
that's fair. We kind of heard it anyway.
Yeah,
she
you
doesn't
kind of
want
heard it.
She doesn't want to be involved.
That's fine. We kind of heard it. Yeah.
Snoot.
Snout.
Snoot.
Snoot.
It's not
Nice.
not
Why does she like? Why does she? Yeah, it's not too dissimilar.
not that
Why does she
different,
like
yeah.
it so much in
Yeah.
English? Yeah.
So that's how I always get away with Dutch, because most Dutch words are just a tiny bit
Yeah.
different in English. Like as though someone's drunk.
It's like if you said
English.
it's like if you said, "Oh, yeah, Lynn really loves the word orange. It's her favourite English word." He's like, "What is it in Dutch?" Orange? No. It's like just slightly different.
I remember we once at this restaurant in France, right? My parents, this is when I was really young. My parents were doing their best effort of like, they weren't being like proper English and like chicken nuggets, please. You know, they were like, they had a little phrase book out and they were trying their best to sort of at least try. You know,
Pommes frites.
a lot of places at least appreciate that you're trying or whatever. But anyway, they were. I remember they were ordering drinks and they ordered a Coke and they were like, Coke, and the guy was like. I just didn't understand. What? Like, what is this? And they were like, and Mum was, Coca. And he's like, Coca, yeah. Yeah, and then like, it's like as if you didn't know what he meant.
Yeah.
And then right at the
Yeah,
end of the night.
the French are like notorious though. They
Yeah,
just
well,
don't-
right at the end of the night, he'd been like this all night, and my mum worked. You know, he looked up, Letition, s'il vous plaît, you know, like, and he went, pay downstairs. I was like,
I got a trauma in France when I was, I forget how old I was, like a classic school trip to France. Like we went over to Boulogne or somewhere, and we went to a big supermarket. I wanted to get some cheese, so you know, my best sort of French that I'd learned at school, I asked someone, "Where is the cheese?" I can't remember I don't know how to say "where is the cheese" now in French.
Où est le fromage? Or
Oh,
something.
there we go. And the woman just laughed at me. She didn't answer my question. She just laughed. And to this day, I've just got a
You still
trauma
don't
of
know where
speaking
the
French.
cheese is.
I still don't know where the cheese
Still
is.
don't know where the-
You might,
But I mean, I must have. I was only about, I don't know, maybe 11, 12,
Yeah.
something like that.
Do you know one thing I remember from going to France as a kid? You go to school, you go to France, and you could buy porno cards
Yeah.
and bangers. You could just buy
Bangers,
them. They
yeah.
would just let you buy them.
And like on the way back, there'd always be like a stop just before we got to Calais or wherever, like the ferry, and it would be like the contraband stop where the teachers would go around and like try and find everything that everyone had bought. Like
Who's
those
got the bangers?
proper like proper bangers though.
Yeah, they were like bits of dynamite. Like, I remember, I remember my friend bought some back once, and they were like little sticks of dynamite. It was like, how can you get away with that?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, there's no like, it's not like a firework. The only thing that is for is for just blowing stuff up. You know, like, yeah, mental. That's the end of my shit anyway. My things that probably weren't true.
good shit.
I love it.
Yeah.
That one just got absolutely not even an attempt to back that up, has it? That one, like, so it's probably just an utter load of shit. But it reminded me of that other story of my friend, so I thought I'd mention it.
Go on,
Right, I'll
George.
dive in
What
there.
do you got?
So I've only got a couple.
Son like you only got about 15.
I've got like one. I'll go in with this one straight. This is just like a nice short one. It's very simple.
All right,
Adolf Hitler wins African election.
obviously.
So this is
Okay.
From the start of December, and this is a man named Adolf Hitler has won a local election in Namibia, but insists he has no plans for world domination. So Unona Adolf Hitler, 54, was elected as a local politician. However, he says that despite his unfortunate namesake, he has no plans to take over the world.
Pretty unfortunate for a political.
So this is the mad bit, right? Speaking to the German news site Bild, he said his father gave him the name without understanding who the Nazi leader was or what he stood for.
Well, maybe if you're in like where are they? Like Namibia.
Namibia. However, you could say that. You could say fair enough. Yeah, maybe. But Namibia is a former German colony, so it's not unusual for streets, places, and people to have German names. So,
oh right, yeah.
you know, there's sort of like a little bit of a
and
connection where
he
you're
says
like,
he's 54, so his dad had a good like 20 or so years to find out who Adolf Hitler was.
yeah, you know, maybe it is a completely innocent sort of
Well,
mistake.
you'd think it would be because no one's doing that on purpose, are they? Like, no one's going. Do you know what? Well, does that mean they are the Hitlers as well? Like, are they?
So it's just his name. Like they're not called the
Oh,
Hitlers.
fuck
It's
off.
just he's just called Adolf Hitler.
What first name? Adolf Hitler.
He's got a
Adolf
first
Hitler
name.
Smith or something like.
So his name is Unona Adolf Hitler.
What?
So Adolf Hitler is like his Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, a lot
maybe
of
they
different
have, like-
cultures do names differently, right? Like they'll
Yeah,
have the
they're not
first name is their
necessarily
family name or something like that. So maybe that's the case.
So that's his full name. So he uses just his first name now. So Mr. Unona. But yeah, mad. He says, it was a perfectly normal name for me when I was a kid. It wasn't until I grew older that I realised that this man wanted to subjugate the world and kill millions of Jews.
So was it?
I
Is it one word?
Adolf Hitler. No, it's Adolf Hitler.
I don't understand that. You come to that by accident. What the fuck? This has got me a load of shit.
Unona Adolf Hitler. I don't know whether they have surnames in Namibia. I don't know if that's maybe he hasn't got a surname, but they're just the first name is like the was it patronymic name or whatever? I don't know. I don't know how it works, but Adolf Hitler isn't his surname. It is his actual just first name.
Given name.
Given name, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just mad. But you would have thought that you'd change it now, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah. It's like I knew a guy called John Cunt. His name was right. Obviously, he changed his name, didn't he? He changed his name. He's now Barry Cunt.
Fucking hell.
So yeah, that was that one. Nice and simple. But yeah,
good.
my biggest question is why don't you change your name now? Like,
Well, yeah.
surely.
Quite.
Yeah, once you found out who Adolf Hitler was, you would change that, surely.
Yeah. You'd think. Maybe he has.
Well, he hasn't. He's just won an election. He's like an elected official. Adolf Hitler is an elected official in Namibia.
Mental.
It's mad. My next story is a bodybuilder cheats on sex doll wife.
Oh, we love a sex doll story,
Sex
don't
dolls,
we?
yeah.
Yeah,
we
sex
do
dolls.
love-
We're very sex doll heavy. So this has got like a little additional.
Is that
bits.
3 for 3 on sex dolls? Then is that? Did you ever mention a
I
sex doll?
didn't
Tom?
mention a
I
sex doll,
forgot.
no. But we have on previous episodes. This is probably like the third or fourth
right.
episode with a sex doll. Isn't it?
So there's so this is a weird one. So there's a story about him. Then afterwards, I looked him up on Instagram and I found his Instagram.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of weird stuff going on his Instagram. I don't like to judge people. People could do whatever they want, but there's a video that I'll show of him rubbing a raw chicken, like a whole chicken, just all over himself, and he's implying that he has found a way to have sex with this chicken, like this uncooked chicken, because he's missing his sex doll wife.
Right.
Strange, like out
Each
there.
to their own, but that is a little odd.
Where's
Yeah,
his-
there's no denying that it's odd.
What I'll do, I'll link the post in our thing, and I'll read out the story as well. There's a really like a very strange how would you say, like a bio to the video, not a bio, but like a
Caption.
what would you call it? Caption. That's it. Which is very bizarre. But let me link the Instagram here. Maybe we'll put this up on YouTube, but it's not really. It's not. There's no cock and bollocks out, but it's not really. It's maybe NSFW or whatever it is. Not safe for work.
Yeah, we can.
It's 5 minutes long.
It's mental. It is mental. So
come
I'm going to
man.
read it. I'll read out the story here. So bodybuilder cheats on sex doll wife
I
with
don't
bizarre
like it.
object. while he gets repaired. Well, she gets repaired. So whilst his sex doll wife is off getting repaired, he's cheated on her with an object, which is like a
He must be having a
square
laugh.
block.
He's having a laugh, isn't he? Surely.
So Yuri Tolochko from Kazakhstan married his doll Margot last November after saying he fell in love when he spotted her at a nightclub. So my biggest question straight away is who was the doll like there with someone else already, or
he's got some great pictures in here, isn't he?
yeah.
He's pretty built, isn't he?
Beefy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's dench.
So he revealed on Instagram that she'd broken days before Christmas and had been sent away from repair. Now, I don't know if it was on that video that I've sent, but there was a really weird caption. He'd said, like, Margot is away for repair. She's used to, taking lots of my loads. But while she's away for repair, I'm going to have to...
Yeah, that's my favourite picture.
It is on this video of him rubbing the chicken all over himself.
Oh, it is that,
It says, after the wedding, Margot broke down. You know that I love lots of sex. I love BDSM. I love weird sex. She always endured such loads. But then something went wrong. It'll be fixed soon. She's getting better. We will be home soon. But I'm afraid to break it again. I decided.
That's the weird thing about it for you.
I think this might be translated. Also,
rude.
I think he's like Russian, so I think it's translated
from Kazakhstan.
Okay. Yeah. I decided to find other sexual objects. I'm on a search right now. In different cultures, there is a tradition where a man has several wives. It will probably be the same for me. Margot will be the eldest wife, but I will have other younger wives and husbands. I respect Margot. I love her. Therefore, I will not purchase another sex doll girl. Margot will be the only one. However, if someone gives me a boy sex doll and this boy is a copy of me, I will gladly accept. I will enjoy having sex with myself. Now I'm looking for items that can give me fantastic sex. You know I can get orgasms from objects and food.
So the video on that, I don't know what bit you're up to, guys, but the bit I'm up to, he's just squirted lube on the chickens.
That's about as far as I got. I think I was done with that.
Nearly 3 minutes in.
He's not going to do anything with it, but he's sort of just rubbing this chicken all over him. I mean, it's just weird. Obviously, if you're a vegan, you probably don't want to be watching that. But so this guy is, he's like.
I'm not sure that that's the only category of people that might not want to watch that, George.
Well, yeah, maybe, but it's probably. It's a chicken, so I know that animal lovers probably don't want to see a plucked chicken being rubbed over a big hairy man's body. I mean, I don't want to. So the reason why he's posted that is because he got asked if he was cheating on his wife after posting a similar video of him with a box. He was laying on a bed just playing with this box with like loads of ridges and beads on it and stuff. So I think he's probably got like a fetish for like textures and stuff like that.
Okay. I was just trying to find a word for someone that will fuck anything, because he describes himself as a pansexual on his page, but that just means you'll have sex with any gender. It says biological gender or gender identity. I want to know what the phrase for, because he'll also fuck a chicken, a dead. There's got to be another phrase. I couldn't find it. I was just trying to find it there, and I can only find like joke ones as like trisexual. Well, that's Urban Dictionary, and it said I'll just try having sex with anything, but I don't think that's.
So he's due to marry the sex doll.
He has married.
They're due to get married. Well, the pair were due to get married in March this year before the coronavirus pandemic threw the world into turmoil.
There's a picture of them on their wedding day.
No, maybe that. Yeah, they are married now. That's a bit of a confusing part of the article. I think it's trying to say that they were due to get married a lot earlier, but obviously got delayed. And it does say that he was attacked during a transgender rally, which is a bit bleak. So that's a delay it again. So now they're happily married, but he's going to take other wives that aren't sex dolls. They're just going to be objects. It's just strange. I mean, if he's happy doing it, he's not hurting anyone.
Yeah, good luck to him.
I also wouldn't, I would, because he's quite a large chap.
Yeah, exactly.
Call him out on his lifestyle choices to his face, because he would definitely batter my face in. But his Instagram's quite an interesting Instagram page. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, mate. More power to him.
Yeah, but it's just I had to bring a sex doll story. I just couldn't not bring it when I saw it.
I'm scrolling through the comments on the video. Some of them are good. Like some people just proper behind him. They're saying, "Love it. You keep doing what makes you feel good. Such pleasure to get to watch. You're awesome. Live your life. Oh my god, this guy is so crazy." And then like some party faces. Lucky as chicken. Good looking, sexy, and you can cook to perfection, made man. Then
you can cook to perfection. He hasn't cooked it yet.
I know. But then some people aren't as happy. Like on the picture of their wedding night or wedding day, I guess it's like him kissing the bride. The top comment is just, "Oh mate, get a grip of yourself. You've actually married a doll. There's got to be something wrong with you. Go to a doctor and get checked out. That's not normal." So hit and miss.
There's always one.
Yeah, he's got his fans. He's got his haters.
Yeah, I think you've got to be pretty confident in yourself to go out and post some of the stuff he's posting on Instagram, as well as, you know, be pretty open and get married to the doll and be out in public with the doll. And so fair play to him. You know, you've got to be self-confident. I wouldn't be that confident.
Yeah.
That is one thing he does have a lot of, and that is confidence. That is confidence. Yeah,
confidence and muscles.
Oh, I'm looking at a photo of him in lingerie, and
yeah, mate.
You enjoying it?
It's great. Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing more to say. It's just him in lingerie laying on the floor. But
looking absolutely jacked.
He is jacked. Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah.
Good on him. Yeah. Let him do what he wants, I guess.
Yeah, good one. Looks like it's been going on for a while, so I wonder why it went sort of viral, or there must have been some sort of event or something that.
Or I mean, marrying it probably was clickbait worthy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Maybe
I suppose so.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've had people marrying sex dolls before, haven't we?
Well, all over it. It may happen all the time. And can you do that sort of thing in England? You know, when you hear these articles about it, it's always America or somewhere, in it, where they marry some like car or something, or like.
Yeah.
Can you actually do that in England? Can you legally marry like a spoon? Or?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I always wonder if those things are you actually legally married to that thing?
Didn't that woman marry the ghost? Married a pirate ghost?
Did she actually?
That's what I mean.
That's what I mean. Like a wicker marriage or something.
Oh, right, yeah.
I've just found a video of him deadlifting his doll, his wife.
Nice. Obviously.
I mean,
it's great.
I feel like I could deadlift a sex doll.
Yeah, I mean, it makes a good. Well, no, I wonder if they try and weight them though. If it's the same weight as a.
Yeah, I don't know. Are they the same
as
weight?
a fully grown adult female? It's not an easy deadlift, is it? Like this is and an awkward shape as well.
Yeah.
Allow me.
I don't know.
I want to try it.
But yeah, so that was the Kazakh bodybuilder who.
Thank you, George.
Is writhing around on a bed with all sorts of different bits and pieces going on. So next one, woman marries her briefcase after 5-year relationship.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, okay.
Is this why you were asking for a briefcase on Instagram earlier?
So
I know it was on Facebook, wasn't it?
It was on Facebook. Yeah, I was trying to get a suitcase. Yeah, listeners, if anyone's got a suitcase, I need one. Right, so this is about a lady called Rain Gordon. She's from Russia. Rain Gordon doesn't sound Russian, so I'm assuming she's changed her name at some point. So Rain Gordon has finally tied the knot with the love of her life, which just so happens to be a briefcase. The teacher, 24, has always been sexually and romantically attached to objects, despite having had relationships with human men in the past. So potentially this is similar. You know, this might be a similar thing, like fetish or preference for objects.
Yeah.
So in August 2015, she met the briefcase that would later become her husband. Rain had brought the briefcase from a hardware store as a prop for a photo shoot. And
So it's a good-looking briefcase.
and soon, right? It's quite a good-looking briefcase. My favourite part of this
This is a film
story.
star of briefcases.
My favourite part of the story is the name of the briefcase.
God.
Oh.
Right, I'll give you both one guess.
What is it? A name that she's named it or the
So
brand?
she's named the briefcase.
Oh, okay. Is it like a normal male name?
Or is it like a pun?
No, it's not a pun,
Okay.
but I don't think it's a very normal name. But
Okay,
if you can
So
guess,
it's not just like Graham or something, like,
No,
like just
Yeah.
Michael.
Like-
it's not going to be a normal name, is it? It's not going to be like Gary.
it's not
That's
Gary.
what I was thinking. That's what I was going for. Yeah, just like it'd be quite funny. Like you call your dog like Terry or something. Like I was thinking Mark. I thought I was like the idea of that.
I can't picture like babies with those sort of names either.
No, you can't. People always say
Like
that, don't
Baby
they?
Gary,
Little
huh?
Barry Gary. Yeah, you can have all. Yeah,
Weird.
names like Ethel and that came back, didn't they? Apparently.
Well, it comes in
Yeah.
cycles, doesn't it? Like people
Yeah.
like to name their kids after their like grandparents and stuff. So
Yeah.
it won't be long for people calling their
Yeah.
kid like Pat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I can only think of men. Pam, Arthur, that kind of shit.
Arthur,
Yeah,
is
Arthur's a
one,
good
yeah.
name.
Yeah.
exactly. Coming back.
So the name of the
Yeah,
go on.
briefcase isn't Arthur. It's not
No.
Pam. It's not Ethel. It's not Gary. And it's not Dave. It's Gideon.
Okay,
Gideon.
Gideon.
All right,
All right.
I like it.
So in November 2015,
That's a hot name, to be honest. I can see why she. It sounds like the hot guy from a
Yeah,
TV
you know,
show.
it's like
innit?
an upper class briefcase as well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, like so they met on this after she bought him for a photo shoot, and then it says here a few months later, Rain and Gideon made the relationship official.
Wait, what's her name?
Rain.
Okay, carry on.
So 5 years on, the couple have wed. Rain from Moscow says, "My fascination with objects began at the age of 8. From my childhood, I believe that a soul is embedded into objects, as well as everything around us. I believe in animism, which means that there is life in everything. During my childhood and early teenage years, I fell in love with places such as the new shopping centre that opened in my city.
That's just like a normal teenager, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
I knew that it was wrong and beyond the norms of society. I didn't tell anyone. Falling in love with an object is as unpredictable as it is with a person. In 2015, I was really into cosplay and I was going to dress up as a CSI investigator. As part of the costume, I needed a briefcase, and that is where I first met Gideon at a hardware store. There is a picture. I'll send you the link of the
Oh, yeah, I
article. so
really
you
want
can
to
see a
see
picture
Gideon. Yeah,
Yeah.
can
I
see
want to
Gideon.
judge Gideon for myself.
And we'll put Gideon up on the screen, hopefully. There's a picture of her in a wedding dress, or it looks like a half wedding dress as well. It's not really like
That's not even a briefcase. It's like a standard flight case. I was expecting like
a really fancy one. Like
yeah,
a
we ain't
leather.
get no. It's not. There's no briefs going in there, are there? That is a. that is. I would call that a flight case.
Yeah, it's
It's more
it's
like,
like
a
one of
flight
those-
case, Yeah,
whether it's actually
a
metal or
silver.
if it's just made to look like metal. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like in movies where they've got like loads of money in a case or something.
No, but even
Yeah.
them, they're because they're still more like briefcases that might be made from like leather or plastic with catches that you flick on. This is the like the sort of cases we put our gear
Yeah,
in
for equipment.
for gigs. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Have you ever felt like
anyway, I don't know why that's
Sexually
important to
that
me.
is not
Like, that is
Very-
not what I was expecting Gideon to look
Also-
like. I was expecting like a real classy kind of affair.
that
like,
is
no, Gideon's? He's he's very what do they say, like
multi-purpose. Or whatever.
usability over
utilitarian.
that's it, utility over looks or
Yeah,
whatever. There's
Yeah,
a
not
but
phrase.
form
but
over
it-
function.
It's not
Yeah,
what I
that's
would
it,
call
yeah.
call a briefcase. It's misleading.
Yeah, that is
It a-
also bad cosplay because that is not the kind of briefcase a CSI agent would carry around.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
that-
shit, it's a very good
so
point.
she's not even good at cosplay.
We're tearing this
Yeah.
apart.
You could call in Rain out on her cosplay.
I am.
And I'm also naming
Yeah.
him. That's more like a fucking Wayne.
It
that
says
is or something,
this
innit?
woman
Yeah, that ain't-
is a teacher as well. This woman should not be teaching our kids. Like
This is Gideon right here. Right, I found fucking Gideon. Right, this is what Gideon should look like.
There we go. Gideon's here.
Check out Gideon there. I mean, that's what I was sort of picturing.
That is a briefcase.
Yeah, that is a Gideon.
Yeah, that's a Gideon, isn't it? That's a
I'll
briefcase.
tell you what, that is a good briefcase. There's lots of little pockets. Call them
Yeah.
pockets.
Yeah, that's Gideon right there. Not that fucking.
He's
that
he's
she's
better.
got. Yeah.
5 years together.
So 5 years together. So at first, she says she admits
Fuck
that
me.
the attraction was instant. but she says she didn't want to take things seriously. I had no idea that
But
we
he moved in
would end
straight
up
away.
together. He moved in, woke up. I don't normally do this. She explained, I admired how he looked, but I didn't think anything more. But then I started liking Gideon for more than that. I slowly realised that I was starting to fall in love. I'd want to look at him for hours and feel his presence. After another few months in November, the relationship began. We shared our first hug and kiss, and we spent more time together in the evenings and the nights. We could have philosophical conversations for 3 or 4 hours. Our spiritual connection and communication is shown telepathically. I hear him and he hears me, but from the outside it looks like a monologue.
This is when it starts to get a bit bleak, isn't it? Because this is just the woman with quite horrific mental health issues.
Yeah,
like,
because
just
the way
talking
she's
to this inanimate object.
She's saying it's like a monologue, so that suggests that she's talking out loud, but she's doing both parts, either both parts of the conversation, or at least just saying her bit.
Like
and then in her mind, she's getting a response from.
She's like moving the briefcase open and closed like it's like it's moving its mouth, doing the voice. Oh yes, I love you too, Rain.
Oh, wait, Rob, we might have a term for this.
Go
preference.
on, yeah.
So she identifies as an objectum sexual. So object, U-M at the end, objectum sexual.
I'll take that.
Which refers to individuals who develop deep emotional and or romantic attachments to and have relationships with inanimate objects or structures.
There you go.
So, I mean, that might be different because the other guy was just fucking them. Whereas this sounds like it's more of a...
yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to know really, because I said about people marrying it and that.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I didn't. I was talking about fucking it, but still. Asking ye shall receive.
There is an
eh?
answer. There is an answer in that article
Rain...
as well about whether it's legally binding or not, and it says it's not. So it just says the marriage is not legally binding, but the couple have special wedding rings with engravings on them, and Rain is overjoyed.
So where's the ring on Gideon?
Just chuck it inside.
Weird, isn't it?
Gideon. I'm so disappointed by Gideon.
Oh, they had the wedding in a hotel room. And she says, this is not the first time I've booked a hotel room, simply because we'd like to spend time together. Having some saucy, dirty weekends away in a hotel.
Who's gonna,
Is that even real, man? This was fucking last year.
Yeah.
I know, it's an old one, but...
What? No, I mean, it's not old. It's only like a month ago.
Oh, yeah, 29th of December.
Yeah.
I'll email her.
It's just fucking...
We'll see what...
There's a couple of good comments underneath. One says, I hope she's got a handle on this.
Oh, yeah, no.
One says, stunning. She claims to love the briefcase, but then it transpires that she two-timed it with a human for 2 years. Because she was in a relationship with a man for a little bit afterwards.
Absolutely outrageous.
Someone says, do you think they will have baby purses or wallets? And someone's done commented a sort of serious response. She says, I doubt it, as I don't see how she could actually have sex with it.
I love when people answer shit like that.
Yeah.
Someone writes like they're so obviously stupid and people just give it like a crack up about the internet.
Seems strange. She's in love with an object that can't love her back because it's an object that has no feelings.
It's like when you see people in Reddit posts like end up it might be like a post where people are ripping the shit out of someone or something, and then someone will come back at them, and then they end up in the comment end up just talking about nice. They end up getting on after a while of like, actually, yeah, cheers, bro, you really helped me out with that. I can't think of an example of that.
Yeah, sorry, that comment seemed a bit mean. I'm going through like a rough time at the moment. Message me, please talk about it.
In fact, there was actually, I'll tell you one of the examples when me and Lawford did that Legends Never Die video. And that got like 30,000 views because someone put it in Reddit, didn't
Jake
they?
Put it on.
Jake put it in Reddit. And there were comments on that. People were just, he was expecting, he was just waiting for people to take the piss out of my hair, and there was not one comment about my hair. But there was most of the comments was something to do with his teeth. They were like, he's got his baby teeth, like he's still got his baby teeth or something like that. And like, someone was caning it off, and then someone else jumped in and was like, hey man, like this could be your baby teeth or something. And then that person replied to them, and them two people, and ended up having like, actually I have troubles with sleeping or something, like, yeah man, well you should check this out, I really hope you're okay. Yeah, cheers bro. What a strange corner.
So Lawford is a medium of peace and tranquility in the universe.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, apparently so. That was great, that though. I enjoyed that so much. When I was just seeing these comments come in, I was like, I fucking cannot wait.
I bet he was jibbing out, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was like fucking great. Yeah.
So that is Rain and Gideon. There's not much more to that story.
Love it.
They're happily in a relationship. Got a couple more, but maybe I won't do all of them. So one of them is a Bigfoot story.
Oh,
So it's not necessarily a news story, but I saw it, and it's just a Bigfoot encounter, and I feel like I have to just bring a Bigfoot encounter to.
Yes, please. I'm all right.
And so with this, there's a couple of photos as well of supposed Bigfoot tracks. Although, why is it not? Oh no, maybe it. Oh no!
What's
Lost it,
happening?
hang on. It's disappeared. My Bigfoot one is. Bear with me 1 second.
would you close it by accident?
Yeah, I think I must have done.
Command Shift T. That'll bring back like your closed tabs, unless you closed it ages ago.
Yeah, it must have been. I think I've got it here. So this is on a website
Oh,
called. What's this
is
fucking
it?
website here? This is a website called the. Sorry, it's loading in. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organisation,
Oh,
or BFRO for short. This is a Class A report. This is a Class A Bigfoot sighting. And this occurred.
Class A.
Class A. So I think they have different classes depending on how much evidence is gathered from
okay.
a sighting. You know, if they've got photos or if they've got poo or like hair and stuff like that. So essentially, this happened in Colorado a couple of years ago, or last year. Sorry, it's only just been put on this site, I believe. And this was a husband and wife were out hiking. So I'm going to read it verbatim. It says, July 25th, my girlfriend and I were hiking in Mayflower Basin. We were up in the basin, and my girlfriend had gone ahead. I was about 100 yards off of the 3 minor log cabin remnants, enjoying peanuts. Don't know why the peanuts are important. And he
Helps
says,
you picture it, doesn't it? Helps you get involved in the scene.
Yeah, enjoying peanuts in water he was. And he says, I looked west.
Hang
and saw
about.
a very
Peanuts in water.
Peanuts and water.
Oh,
So
right.
water was the...
They mentioned
to
that.
wash down the
Does it
peanuts.
really say and water?
It says peanuts and water, yeah. Says he was sitting on a rock enjoying peanuts and water.
Very strange detail. Anyway, yeah.
So it says, I was looking west and saw a very large brown biped. So biped is something that walks on 2 feet.
Yeah.
Approach the snow wall and seek to climb it. So that he saw something trying to climb this snow wall. In the photos you can see there's like a ridge of snow above like a canyony bit. It says that the biped was unable to climb up as it was over 20 foot tall, the ridge, and then it moved back down to its right, and then down through the snow at the base of this like snow wall, and then apparently it ran off. So it says it walked very briskly and started to run off to the right around this corner, which is covered up by trees. And he says he later saw this brown biped walking above the snow line for a little while, but then didn't see it again. So after seeing this thing up on this sort of peak, he went up to where they saw it with his wife, and in the snow at the base of the peak, there was a series of footprints in the snow.
Of course, there were footprints.
Yeah, I'm going to link it to you now, so you can have a look at this website.
Fuck's sake.
Handprints and footprints in the snow, and you can sort of see where something has attempted to sort of jump up or like climb up. And you can see in the first picture, like there's a classic red arrow pointing to where this Bigfoot was. And I think you can even see the rock where he enjoyed his peanuts and his water, which is superb. I just thought it was interesting because this is what is seen as being a Class A sighting, and it's really only a picture of...
This is a Class A sighting.
This is as close as you're going to get.
Yeah, I love it.
Is this website as well? Is this like... Oh, the Bigfoot
this
Field
is the
Researchers
Bigfoot-
Organisation. Excellent.
This is like the real deal, this is.
Top drawer shit, this is, yeah.
And this is just like an archive of Bigfoot sightings.
Did you just go
from all
trawling
over.
it just to see?
I didn't know. I'm going to, though. Definitely going to.
We've got some merch. If you want some of that, George.
Oh, I'll fucking get... Let's see if we can get a sponsorship from them.
Oh, That'd be
So
good.
there's even like
An affiliate link.
So at the very bottom, there's a like obviously, I don't know whether it's just 2 people that run this website, or maybe there's a few, but at the very bottom of this article, there's a note from one of these people, say like giving their sort of verdict on the report and the verdict of it. And they actually went out to where this occurred. So they spoke to the witness and then went out to where this was found, and they've sort of done a report saying they couldn't find any definitive tracks, did not find any evidence of deer or elk activity, which they thought was unusual for that area. They reported that there was several high-volume water sources, and he would consider the area to be a viable Sasquatch habitat.
Oh, we'll settle then.
There we go. Overall, Scott W. and I were impressed with the witness's account and his knowledge of Colorado wilderness, wildlife, and the area of the sighting. And he just talks about how, the witness was like one that you can believe.
It's credible.
I might try and speak to this investigator, Scott Miles, because he's got like a little bio on there. He's a retired IT professional. Many hours of wilderness research.
Well, I'm listening. I'm just going to put my jumper on.
But yeah, I just love it. I love these things. The only thing is that I think, what else is going to have made those handprints up on the snow? If it's not a person.
They're always this and that. They're always handprints or footprints or something. And
it could just been a person.
It could be anything. It could be anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but he saw it. It wasn't a person. It was a big hairy.
How do you know
hairy
that?
Biped. Look, he's a good witness.
He's a credible witness, mate.
He's a credible witness. He'd been eating peanuts and water, right? He wasn't on drugs, or he didn't have mushrooms growing inside his veins.
I want to know more about these peanuts and water, to be honest. Like, were they
Salted?
Dry roasted? Yeah. Were they honey roasted, maybe, or chili, even? Or
Chili.
what was it? Peanuts and was that what he was consuming? Was it a bottle of water of which he filled with peanuts and allowed it to soak
That's
in?
not.
So it was called
Like olives.
almost like peanut water.
If that's the case, then this man is not credible.
Peanut infused water.
Really fancy some peanuts now. In fact, what I fancy is a peanut curry that I made last night.
Oh, I've got a few bags
Peanut
of peanuts
curry.
downstairs, you know.
There you go. If you crack them out, you sit on a rock, get your peanuts and your
I'll
water,
look out my window.
and you have to look. But make sure is it facing west?
It was west, yeah.
So if you face
Towards
west
the snowbank.
towards the snowbank, then you'll see the big hairy biped.
Put the peanuts in the water the night before, soak them, make sure they're soaking for at least 12 hours so you've got the real potent peanut water, and that's how you see a biped.
Real potent. Try and say that really fast 5 times. Real potent peanut water. So,
All right, George,
next
you
story.
reach out to the
I'm gonna reach out
BFRO.
to-
They've got an email at the bottom there.
Yes, please.
I'm going
I
to
reckon
reach
that could
out
be a good little
to
interview.
Gideon's wife. And see where that takes us. Maybe that Kazakh bloke as well.
Reach out to Gideon, please.
Yeah.
So this one, what I'll do, this will be my last one. We won't. There was 2 more little short ones, but nothing too interesting. This is the best headline. So, North Korean gymnast vaults to freedom over the border. So, a North Korean defector has used his training as a gymnast to leap over a 12-foot fence
That's
from
actually
North
sick.
Korea into the south. So yeah, his audacious attempt involved making it across the world's most heavily guarded border, which is strewn with over 2 million mines and bristling with barbed wire. I'll send you a link so you can see a photo of the border. I'm assuming that some of the border is a bit different to this, but like,
I was
this wall
gonna
is pretty
there's
formidable.
there's definitely parts that aren't that.
Yeah, it's pretty
It's
mental.
such
though.
a sun fucking link.
So officials were so taken aback that they made the man, who is in his 20s, recreate his jump. That seems like a bit of a dodgy way of trying to get him back into North Korea, saying, I don't really, can you just do it again? And then once he's in North Korea, just
In reverse,
leave him
let's
there.
see what.
Yeah. That's like telling someone to shut the door from the outside, isn't it? So according to the Korea Herald, the man is reportedly of small stature, and the authorities believe that his light body weight and gymnastics training aided the escape. And then it just goes on to discuss the many North Koreans escaping, the defectors escaping. So they do report that he's sort of tried it a couple of times before. He was captured on thermal cameras loitering around a mile south of the demilitarized zone.
What does that mean? Is there like a sort of
There's an area, there's
no
like
man's
two
land
buildings.
almost?
Yeah, there's like always a South Korean guard and like a North Korean guard, and there's like no mines, there's no tanks or like military outposts. It's like
they go in a room to have like the odd meeting, didn't they? And the room is like literally split down the middle, so they don't go across the table.
Yeah,
it's mad.
Obviously, both Koreas are now like wondering why their security isn't good enough if someone can sort of vault over the wall. So I think it's caused a bit of a stir. Did you ever see the video of the North Korean soldier escaping? I think it was like 3 years ago.
That's down the bottom of this page.
Oh, is it on there?
Is it not escaping? Is he getting shot?
So he gets shot like 3 times. So it's a North Korean guard, and he one day decided he wanted to defect. So he stole a Jeep, and there's a video of him. I think you can get it on YouTube as well as on this thing here. And he's like gunning it down this road, gets towards where the border is towards the wall. I think abandons the Jeep. Like the Jeep might have like popped its tires. I don't know if there's like some sort of trap there to stop cars going along. So he gets out, he's running on foot, and then the North Koreans are chasing after him, like shooting him, and they managed to shoot him, I think, 3 times. So then he was crawling, and he managed to crawl across the border, and then once he's across the border, North Korean guards can't touch him, and then, like South Koreans come and drag him and pull him away, and he survived. But it's a crazy video. Like, it's like it looks like a James Bond, something from a James Bond film. He's sort of dodging and diving and
Good
stuff.
Shit.
I think he was pulled to safety hours after, so he got shot and then sort of crawled out into no man's land, and then was sort of left for dead by the North Koreans, and then the South Koreans went and grabbed him and pulled him back, into South Korea. It's just mad, crazy. But I like the idea of someone doing a gymnastic vault over the wall, but like a really sort of artistic one, doing a couple of flips and just landing and sticking the landing and then just walking off into the sunset.
Yeah, doing like a finish.
Little pirouette or whatever. So that's it. There's nothing really more to that story. That's just a little interesting.
Well, he survived and got away, so it's quite wholesome. It's quite a wholesome end.
We finished on a good one.
Just like the news always ends with a wholesome article. This is what I said. I said this to Gina, that the news always ends, and she was like, "No,
you did say this on
I was like, Fuck.
the last episode as well."
Oh, did I? Did I mention it on the Christmas Eve episode? How did that go? Because she was sat there.
Yeah, it'll always end on something a little bit, nice, just so you're not like left with a sour.
Is that because we ended? Is that because we ended the Christmas episode on a nice story, and I said that exact same fucking thing?
I think you said it before that, and then we did end it on the nice episode. And you was like, "See, we even ended on a nice episode." You've done exactly what you just done.
I was pissed. I was getting it. I was merry, wasn't I? A lot of people have told me they were like the cunt count was high on that episode.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, I think that was like a formula that we agreed to move forward with from now on. It was
at least 3 beers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because like I said, I think did I say this off air or early on when we started recording? But I'm trying not to drink in the week. Yeah. But maybe next cast. Well, if we do it on a Sunday or something,
weekend,
that's the weekend. Yeah, I'll have 4 beers.
We'll schedule that
That's
in.
all I need, mate. Yeah, we'll schedule it.
All right.
Well, it was good to chat again. It's been a minute.
It's been a while.
It has.
I think the last time we recorded was like early December, maybe, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. It was just because it was we recorded only a few days before Christmas, didn't we? Squeezed it in.
Oh yeah, of course.
And you're gonna play us out, Rob?
I'm gonna play us out with a live solo.
All right. Rob's gonna play us out. So stay tuned.
Head over to the YouTube channel. Go listen to Malcolm's full interview, and there'll be more content coming.
Rob, just quickly, can you make like a UFO noise? Like you always say.
I ain't got a whammy bar. If I had a whammy bar, I probably could like.
I mean, Rob always just does the UFO noises with his mouth.
I can put on all the weird effects I've got from here, like. No, not really. No, is the answer.
I mean, if UFOs do sound like that, I welcome the UFOs.
The alien overlords. So everyone, like Tom said, go over to the YouTube channel.
So obnoxious.
Go over to the YouTube channel, go onto Spotify to listen to Rob's debut Curios Cast album coming soon, where he plays nothing but ambient
Just alien
UFO
noises,
yeah. Yeah, we'll be back next month for some sort of episode. Who knows what the what the subject matter will be? It'll probably be a more specific one, maybe than a weird news, I guess.
Yeah, that we mentioned last episode the potential for a Valentine's special. Whether
Oh yeah, we might
whether
have
that,
to do that, yeah.
falls into place or not, we don't know.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we'll see. But yeah, thanks
Okay.
everyone.
Thanks
you.
for listening.
Thanks Tom. Thanks Rob. And play us
Peace.
out, Rob.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm going to do really. I just felt.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the face.
That's going to be the start of the new theme.
Yeah.
Nice one.
We're just fucking about. Right, peace.
Cheers, guys.